Hi, welcome to Take 5, where we daily consider devotional thoughts from Oswald Chambers' book, My Utmost for His Highest. Today is March 29th, and the title of today's devotional is Our Lord's Surprise Visits. You also be ready, Luke chapter 12 and verse 40. Likely one person who was considered the biggest fool of his time was Noah. It was he who built a boat, not near water, but out on dry land, so to prepare for a huge rain that was to come, very possibly before they had ever experienced rain. Even if they had, there had not been the type of downpour for which Noah was preparing, one that would wash the earth of all the sin that inhabited it. The account of Noah and the ark is found in Genesis chapters 6 through 8. As the rain began to fall and God closed the door of the vessel, it was only Noah's family from among all the humans of the earth that were saved from drowning. No one would believe Noah that a flood was coming, for in chapter 6 verse 11 it says the earth was corrupt and full of violence. Noah was one who had no need to fear death and face God, yet all the rest of the earth certainly did. Chambers tells us in today's devotional, a Christian worker's greatest need is of readiness to face Jesus Christ at any and every turn. This is not easy no matter what our experience has been. It's at times of not expecting Him that Dr. Chambers speaks. He continues, Jesus rarely comes where we expect Him. He appears where we expect Him least, and always in the most illogical situations. I ask you to consider this statement in perhaps a manner you wouldn't think that Chambers is referring. I'll use a personal example. At my wreck in 2012, I was thrown from the back of a pickup and landed on my head, which resulted in a broken neck and cervical cord damage. I was paralyzed from the neck down. I couldn't move. Once I was loaded into an ambulance and preparing to leave, a police officer came up and asked me if I had gotten up off the ground. I told him that no, I couldn't move my body. He asked me if I was sure, and I affirmed that I was quite certain, and then I asked him why the question. He responded with the most surprising answer, that there were some witnesses who had seen me stand up and walk around. Remember from Daniel chapter 3, the 3 godly men who were placed into the furnace to be burned alive for their faith in God, yet 4 men were seen in the oven. As with them, God too was with me that night, standing over me, protecting me from the enemy. Christ coming at times when not expected can be in times when our life is being lived in moral depravity, as was mine. And He comes in order to let us know that we need to turn back to Him from our sinful ways. Chambers instructs us that the only way a servant can remain true to God is to be ready for the Lord's surprise visits. This readiness will not be brought about by service, but through intense spiritual reality, expecting Jesus Christ at every turn. The only way to be ready to face God at any moment is to live a life of readiness and expectancy. Chambers says this sense of expectation will give our life the attitude of childlike wonder He wants it to have. Chambers finishes out in an intensely important way by saying, if we are going to be ready for Jesus Christ, we have to stop being religious. In other words, we must stop using religion as if it were some kind of a lofty lifestyle. We must be spiritually real. Folks, church is not knowing Jesus. Singing and jumping up and down is not knowing Jesus. Acting as if you're okay because you belong to such and such church and hear so-and-so preach is not knowing Jesus. Chambers warns his readers, if you are avoiding the call of the religious thinking of today's world and instead are looking onto Jesus, setting your heart on what He wants and thinking His thoughts, you will be considered impractical and a daydreamer, as was Noah. But when He suddenly appears in the work of the heat of the day, you will be the only one who is ready. You should trust no one and even ignore the finest saint on earth if he blocks your sight of Jesus Christ. If you haven't yet read today's devotional from Dr. Chambers' book, I encourage you to do so, for it will enhance the time that we spend together. It's available free online. Also below, please share any comments or questions that you might have over today's study, and please share prayer requests as well. And now may God's grace and peace be ours as we seek to live our utmost for His highest. God bless you. Thanks for being here today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.